You talk about even that idea of the things that you do. Seth Rogen is a good example of this right now. And this is something that we've been tracking a little bit. Seth Rogen has basically come out in defense of cancel culture.
Which is absolutely hilarious, given some of the films, some of the jokes, and some of the things that he has said, some of his behavior for the past 20 years. Now, you and I find him to be hilarious. I find him to be hilarious.
I think he's awesome.
I think he's great.
Yeah.
Last week we talked about the Messenger Matters. This is the last person. This is the last one, not the last, because there's worse.
Yeah,
this is one of the last people that should be defending cancel culture given his history.
So this goes to, we are both fans of comedy. I love comedy. I think Dave Chappelle is the greatest stand-up comedian of all time.
I still like beer.
I think Dave Chappelle is the greatest stand-up comedian of all time, and I don't think it's close. I love Dave Chappelle.
Oh, yeah, Dave Chappelle. Oh, he's the GOAT.
And
Dave Chappelle's the GOAT.
Dave Chappelle has said a couple of things. Part of what I like about Dave Chappelle is his comedy is so highbrow.
It's so thoughtful.
It's thoughtful. It's intellectual. And he says things that really people are just laughing at, hey, I'm Rick James, and they really don't get it's why he left the game for a while. He's like, you guys are laughing, you don't understand what's
You're
funny.
Laughing at me.
Like you actually don't get the nuance of the things that I'm saying.
Yeah.
And Dave Chappelle, when he won the Mark Twain Award, the irony of Dave Chappelle winning the Mark Twain Award, it's just incredible.
Yeah.
And was at the Kennedy Center. He had talked a little bit about comedy is the last bastion that we have, where you can talk about things in a provocative way and laugh about them, and people won't get offended and up in arms about everything. Like, it's the last bastion. And I have a hard time with somebody like Seth Rogen being in the comedy game, now deciding that cancel culture is okay. It's just inconsistent.
It's inconsistent. It's ridiculous. And if you look at his brand, if you look at the other people that have spoken out against cancel culture, and we're talking about comedians, we're talking about people like him. We're talking about, these people are protecting him from being canceled, by the way.
Yeah. I'll be the first to tell you, Knocked Up.
Yeah.
Right? Knocked Up had a lot of really funny parts.
Really funny parts.
Like, really funny parts.
Hilarious.
But I'll tell you, my roommate Mike and I, when that first came out, because I was like, oh, it's a Seth Rogen movie, I'm going to go see it. Do you know I really struggled to find the humor in that movie?
Yeah.
Because of the premise of the movie.
Yeah.
Like this idea that, hey, this guy got lucky and scored this really hot chick one night. Now she's pregnant and they're going to there was nothing that was funny about that to me.
Yeah.
Like that circumstance and look, and not to be all high and mighty on it, because once again, there were some great parts of the movie, and I thought there were parts of it that were really funny. And by the way, like Tropic Thunder is my favorite comedy, so I'm not being
Robert Downey Jr. was incredible in that movie.
Yeah, I'm not being self-righteous on this in that way, but I am saying that
best black actor of all time,
Robert Downey Jr. I don't know who the top five, man. Like Denzel, Samuel L.
Yeah,
Robert Downey Jr.
Wait, he's not. Oh, that's right. You mean Iron Man? Yeah, him.
No, man, he put on whiteface for Iron Man.
Awesome. He was awesome in that.
He's so good. But so I'm not saying because I don't like raunchy humor or anything like that. Like, no, you will not hear that from me at all. But the premise of it, in many ways, is a cancelable premise in 2021.
But Rendon,
you think you could come out with Knocked Up in 2021?
That's what makes this conversation with us so interesting. I don't want to cancel Knocked Up.
No.
I don't want to cancel him.
No.
Look, there's things that you did that I liked. There's things that you did that I didn't like. Some things may have been a little bit inappropriate. Maybe I didn't like the premise of this.
Sure.
That does not mean that you should be canceled.
Yeah.
I don't think Seth Rogen knows what he's even saying right now.
No.
I don't think he knows what he's even talking about.
Yeah.
Like, don't out-woke the woke.
Wow.
Because that's exactly what he's trying to do. And by doing that,
you sound like Robert Downey Jr. I'm just playing the man behind the man that's being the man.
I'm just dude playing the dude behind the dude.
He actually wasn't in blackface. His character was in blackface.
His character was in because he was really black. Got the tips.
I'm just a dude playing the dude, trying to be the dude.
Trying to be the dude.
But no,
it's true though. And when you do that, you end up canceling yourself. Why do you want to cancel yourself? Your whole career is predicated upon being just slightly inappropriate.
Yeah.
Which is great.
And you're appropriately slightly inappropriate.
Yes. Yes. You're appropriately slightly inappropriate. That's what we want from you. That's why we go see your movies.
Yeah.
What I would hate to see is a future Seth Rogen not become that, because before a future Seth Rogen gets started, he's already canceled.
Yeah.
Or she's already canceled.
Yeah.
No. Well, that's why I like the Saturday Night Live clip you sent me.
Oh, it's so good. So I am a huge fan of Saturday Night Live. I've been all in for a really long time. And the reason I watch Saturday Night Live, and Wesley knows this, is because if there are pop culture references that I'm missing, then I'll pick it up on Saturday Night Live, and then I'll know that I need to be reading up on what's happening in the world.
That's why you never be as cool as me, because I pick it up through osmosis. Because I don't have to watch that.
I never want to be the dad that has
I'm already cool enough.
I never want to be the dad that has no clue what's going on.
It's ridiculous, yeah.
Right? Like, I mean,
or like you can't operate a cell phone, like that person.
Yeah, yeah. Hey man, come over here and how do I add your contact?
Anytime somebody tries, real quick as an aside, anytime somebody's like, let me take your number down, and then I see the phone in one hand and I see the index finger in the other, I'm automatically like, give me your phone, man.
It's going to take a while.
I got this.
Let me do this.
Let me do this. And then they put the glasses on.
Yeah.
And then they hold it this far.
Your favorite, the dramatic putting on glasses.
I hate that.
Your favorite thing. We always talk how dramatically. Oh, hey, can you take a look at this?
Just leave them on. I'm like, God, let me get my spectacles. Gosh, dude. Like, we have LASIK now, too. Like, what are you doing? It's 2021. Put your glasses away. Just leave them on. You know, it's so dramatic.
Yes.
I can't read that. You know. Come on, man. Get LASIK, bro.
Come on, man. So I've been watching Saturday Night Live really to pick up on those things, and probably for the last, 15 seasons, I haven't missed an episode. Mm-hmm. And the Weekend Update is one of my favorite parts of it. And once again, these people are provocateurs. Yeah. They're talking about things in an interesting way to get you thinking, to get you to understand what you think about, not to tell you how to think, mm-hmm. but to just open up different concepts, which is what we're trying to do. Like, I'm not trying to tell you how to think. I'm trying to tell you that there's a different perspective, and you should listen to our perspective, and you should listen to other perspectives too. And the season finale was this past week, and they have two co-hosts on the Weekend Update, which is where they tell jokes about the news. One of them is a black guy, Michael Che, who's extremely funny.
Hilarious.
One of them is a white guy, Colin Jost, who's extremely funny.
Hilarious.
And very different backgrounds. And their gift to each other for the end of the season, and they do this from time to time within the seasons for special occasions, is they make each other read jokes that one wrote for the other.
But the amazing part about it is that they don't read them beforehand.
No.
So it's live. It's live television, and these guys are reading. So you have this the waspy of the waspiest white guy.
Yeah.
Okay, reading a joke for the first time, written by a black guy sitting right next to him.
Vice versa. It's
awesome.
Gold. It's absolute gold. And it's actually one of the things that's really interesting about listening to that or watching that clip. I would encourage people. I think it's absolutely hilarious. Some of it's off color. Yes, I think it's absolutely hilarious.
But they caveat it before they even talk with, look, this is a joke.
I hope this doesn't get me canceled or my family threatened.
That's what Colin Jost said. Family threatened. Yeah. This is the world that we live in. That, like, we can't take a joke.
Yeah.
We can't take a joke. That's how dangerous this is, Seth Rogen. You are a comedian, and we have to preface things on Saturday Night Live, which is the premier joke show of the last 30, 40 years, and they have to preface it with, please don't cancel me.
Yeah. Yeah. And the idea of the messenger actually mattering, what I love about that Michael Che and Colin Jost conversation is if Michael Che read the jokes that he wrote, it would be very different.
It would be. It wouldn't be nearly as funny.
It wouldn't be as funny, and it just reinforces how we put these standards on society that if one person says something, it's funny. If another person says something, it's not funny.
Yes, good point.
It's that piece of culture that's even more interesting. And I have a lot of respect for those guys for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a lot of respect for them because it's the whole idea of who you are and what you do coming together. They're willing to add levity to some very complex conversations in our culture.
It's what Dave Chappelle was talking about with comedy.
Yes.
That's why the king's right-hand man was what? The jester.
Yeah.
How can we make light of this to help us understand our issues and our problems? What they do week in and week out, sitting next to each other, laughing, literally the banter and the connection that they have, laughing about the jokes. And Colin reads off one of these really racist jokes. Yeah. And then what does Michael Che say? Man,
it's pretty racist.
And he wrote the joke.
Yeah.
It's so
good.
Funny.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's so funny.
It's so good. And I think especially going into, look, we've had a hard run.
Yeah, it's been a rough few years.
2020, 2021, it's been a hard run.
It's been a rough few years.
And
for many reasons, particularly for me, dude. It's like, people coming into your life. It's just like running for office and it's just been a crazy year, particularly recently for me. It's just been a really crazy year.
Yeah.
Growing families, strain, and COVID and relationships and all this stuff. It's just been a crazy year. But being able to sit here with you and have levity and talk about and being able to joke about this year and being able to talk about SNL, how do we as a country get back to this place? Renee, how can we do this?
Yeah.
How can we do this? How can we laugh? How can we smile? How can we have fun?
Yeah.
How can we appreciate the sacrifices that people made for us to be able to have fun and laugh, Brenda?
And that's the leadership piece.
Yes.
How can we get back there? Because we owe it to those who died for it.
Oh, dude, do we?
We owe it to those who died for it. How can we get back there?
How can we get back to that?
How can I get back to living in a country that Dave Frazier and Emily Perez would be proud of?
Yes. Yes.
I think about that all the time. I think about,
good,
how can I be a better man?
Yeah.
Because there were others who didn't get the opportunity to be.
To continue to be.